Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Joining me now is also Wichita County District Attorney MAUREEN Shelton and also Wichita Falls Police Detective Raymond Perry. He is with the Crimes Against Children unit. So I appreciate both of you also joining us today to talk about Patsy's House. Now, you know, we've been talking a lot about Patsy's House and all that it does for the community and really getting an inside look. But of course, you mentioned earlier how the police, the prosecutors, you know, district attorney's office, and of course Child Protective Services play a big role in really all making this come together. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Well, the Children's Advocacy Center isn't just a place, it's also a process, and that process brings together professionals like prosecution and law enforcement all together under one roof to really fight for healing and justice for these children.
And I understand that you're actually housed underneath that roof, correct? So
yes, that's correct.
What exactly goes on day to day? What are some of the things that you might be doing, you know, to kind of really get to the bottom of these cases?
Primarily, it's investigating these allegations that children either bring forth or other people for them bring forth.
Because we had heard a little bit about from the forensic interviewer, and so therefore you would take kind of that information and go from there, correct?
Right. We take that information that the forensic interviewer is able to obtain during these interviews of the children, and we try to corroborate a lot of that information that they're giving, because we don't always have medical evidence.
Sure.
So we've got to corroborate a lot of different aspects of the information that the child gives.
And how does it help your job and what you're doing, being able to work right there, you know, where you're next to the people? If you need to walk across the hall and ask them a question instead of having to drive down there, does that really, would you say that that helps your job out?
Oh, it helps our job out tremendously. We have a lot of sharing of information between us and CPS and the district attorney's office. If they ever need anything, they can call us right up, and you know, we can either investigate further on some things, or they can give us insight as to where we might go with something, with a case.
And we are really one of the few centers in the state of Texas who have law enforcement and CPS housed under the same roof, and it really gives us just a huge advantage. One of the things we do is multidisciplinary team meetings, which we call care team meetings, once a week, and the district attorney's office comes, law enforcement comes, CPS comes, the therapist that deals with the children on a daily basis, the social worker, all comes to sit at one table to talk about those children's cases, to make sure that none of the details are fallen or lost, and to make sure that we're keeping everything child-centered. And
I think that is a huge benefit and something most of Texoma may not know. You know, growing up in this area, you know Patsy's House is there, you realize what they do for the community, but what a big benefit that, you know, they're able to have offices housed there. And again, that kind of goes back to the donations, being able to make that happen. Absolutely. Correct? What exactly is the benefit of having, you know, the DA partnership with Patsy's House?
What benefit it is for us is that we can see what law enforcement is doing, what Child Protective Services is doing, or the forensic interviewer, and based upon our experience in trying cases before a jury, make some suggestions for changes. And so that interplay between law enforcement, Patsy's House, and the forensic interviewer is so important, and we're lucky here to have the experienced law enforcement and experienced counselors and experienced forensic interviewer, and working together, because those are the most difficult cases, in my opinion, that you can try. And you're dealing, it's a one-shot at that case, and the stakes are high just because, you know, a child's involved and all their anxiety, and we try to make it as painless as possible.
Sure, absolutely. So a big benefit, though, you're able to connect with them and speak with them a lot before the trial, of course, to make those recommendations. And
absolutely, we're all working the case kind of as a team so that everybody knows what's going on, and you know, it's real important to us to do our best to help bring all the pieces together, because if a perpetrator isn't put behind bars, then they generally have around 400 children that they abuse before they're put away. Wow. So it's so very important that we do our best the first time around.
How does it help whenever you're in the courtroom, you know, being able to have those weekly meetings and being able to connect with them? And does it help just being with the same team of people as well, because you're understanding the information that's shared?
We're very fortunate. A lot of the individuals involved have been there for quite a while, and so they know us and we know them. And part of trying a case to a jury is educating them and we have to know the whole process. We have to know what Carrie does. We have to know what the detectives do in order to explain that to a jury, so the jury gets the big picture and understands the process and why we do what we do. So it's very important that we all come together.
How important do you think Patsy's House really is to our community?
I think the community has probably realized that we're trying more sexual abuse cases than we've ever tried before, and our conviction rate's very high, and that's a lot as a result of Patsy's House and the joint team effort, because it's not just the prosecutors. We're just the last component. It's everybody working together for that common goal, and not only just the people that are housed at Patsy's House, but also the board. There are retired police officers, police chiefs, CPS, members of the community that are on that board that help us do what we do, and they're behind the scenes and they're never really thanked.
Absolutely. Now, you know, we've heard a lot that we are seeing more reports, and they believe maybe it is because of awareness and getting the word out there. Is that, you know, in a sense comforting to know that maybe more children are being reached and helped because awareness is going up?
Oh yes, I mean the programs at Patsy's House, our victims liaison people go out and they do the classes for the tell. That brings that awareness to the younger children, because typically we still get cases in where somebody's an adult before they report stuff that happened to them back when they were a child.
Anything you would like to say maybe to the public, somebody's watching and maybe they're a victim, maybe they know someone, just to kind of make it easier on them, or something that you've seen or heard that would give them some comfort about Patsy's House or making that report, picking up the phone?
Well, one of the things I've noticed in some of my investigations is from the point that the child comes in and provides their disclosures to the forensic interviewer, and then after that process, then the counseling process begins. And so you see a change in the child's, their mannerisms, their body language. They're more relaxed, they feel more at ease. They still do get some anxiety, so to speak, when it comes ready for trial and when all that process starts happening. But that's where the counseling component of all this is really important too. But we see the older folks that come in. There's some right now that are 18 and above that come in and say, well, they've been molested back when they were 12 to 15 years old or so, but they just never told anybody about it. So that's the important thing, is to tell somebody that's willing to listen, willing to work a case, and find out all the facts, and put forth a case that our prosecutors can take to court.
Because you may not be alone. There may be other victims out there with that same perpetrator, and the case, it makes it easier, I think, on juries to understand and to convict if they see more than one victim, and we've had some success with multiple victim type cases, and so you may not be alone.
I know obviously having to even prepare for something like this is not something anybody wants to do, because you hate to hear of abuse happening to children, but when you get to see it through, Maureen, and you get to see, the jury convict them and all the hard work that goes into it and the satisfaction of, justice is brought forth, does that just make it so rewarding, all those meetings, weekly meetings and everything that you do every day? And
that's why I do what I do, and I actually carry around a picture of one of my first victims. So
just kind of brings it all together then. Anything else that you guys would like to share, or kind of leave people with about Patsy's House? I know there's a big open house where you can come out, and of course thank everyone who put so much hard work into what's done in our community every day. Can you tell them that's taking place tomorrow? What are the hours?
It is from 5 until 8, and it's an opportunity to meet the real-life superheroes, law enforcement, CPS, prosecution. These guys fight for our community and for our children every day for healing and justice, and it's an opportunity to come out and see our facility and meet those folks and tell them thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you, and for what you do truly for the youth and our community. So thank you so much. And thank you, Texoma, for joining us. As always, we will see you back here next Sunday morning for another look inside Texoma.